Player.
Crazy. Let's start off correctly. Word from our sponsors, our sponsor, but we do have other sponsors actually, and we're just trying to negotiate now and see what can happen, what can't happen. But we do have one sponsor that we have to shout out first and foremost, Utoya CBD. CBD products taking over right now. Everybody has a reason or a season to be taking CBD products. In the MMA world, a lot of people, a lot of athletes are swearing by the muscle soreness that it protects them from, anxiety, inflammation.
Anxiety and inflammation are fucking huge.
No,
remove those two things, you get a much happier athlete.
Right, as well as time zones, which we're going to talk about. Utoya CBD. The description is in the link below. Use that link to save 20% on any product that you purchase from them, and so much benefits: anxiety, depression, nausea, vomiting, inflammation, pain, acne, heart health. The list goes on and on and on and on. Women's menstrual cycle. Got a little feedback from my pronunciation of menstrual.
Yes.
Some girls said that I need to learn how to say the word. Some girls say it turns them on when I speak about their menstrual cycle. Don't know how that works, but we're getting good, bad, and ugly feedback, which we love and support.
Some people got OCD. There's good and bad
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, definitely. And that's what's up. Check the link below, and while you're down there, hit subscribe, hit like if you like, if you don't. Want to also thank everybody outside of our sponsor, everybody for their enormous, tremendous, overwhelming amount of support. This is episode 3.
Episode 3.
And to be honest, if you guys look back and watch episode 1,
there's a big difference from now.
Big difference, but honestly, I didn't even at that time. I even said it in the podcast. I don't even know if there's going to be an episode 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We said there's going to be episode 20. There's going to be episode 200, and I did not expect the support through the social media presence, the feedback that we're getting. So I just wanted to practice my attitude of gratitude and tell you guys that I'm very, 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 very grateful for all the support thus far. And this is not my show, Rob's show. This is not Josh's show. It's our show. And we can I say we?
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
Because you're better at talking that way than I am.
I was going to say I appreciate you, but I had to get your permission that it's a we thing. Yes.
Yeah.
We appreciate all the support. Viewers, sponsors, everything. So what's up? Long fights this weekend.
The fucking world turned upside down for fights.
Yes, the world, literally. It wasn't just North America. It wasn't just one corner of the earth. It was
fucking all corners of the world.
north, east, south, west. Combat sports at its high. Mixed martial arts, boxing.
It was busy.
It was crazy. We'll get into all of that. Not only was there a lot of fights over the weekend, Rob's still training. You know what I mean?
Still putting in that work.
Still putting in that work. Feeling sore. Feeling very, very sore.
That's where them CBD products come in.
And that's what I was gonna say. You know, the CBD products, it's non-psychoactive. So sometimes you don't even know that it's affecting you because it's non-psychoactive. Hold on.
Yeah.
I said, I've been taking it every day, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe it is working, maybe it isn't. I know initially when I first started, I'm like, wow, benefits galore.
Yeah.
But this weekend, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take a few days off of it. And then that's when I felt all the pain. And I'm like, oh, so it was working.
Yeah.
So I hit it back, and it was like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
A breath of fresh air. You got to find the right dosage. You got to find there's different terpenes. Don't quote me on it. Think of this as a picogram moment, where John Jones didn't know which one it was. Right. So I think the word is terpene. But check it out. There's different terpenes that you can mess with in CBD, and terpenes are just like the extracts from plants, and this plant happens to be marijuana. But anyways, it's not a CBD commercial. You guys got your plug. But I'm experiencing the benefits, and it's a beautiful thing. The company that I'm working with, they're sending a pain cream because I just got the oils. So me and you can sample the creams when they come, and we'll give you guys honest, fair, constructive criticism. But back to my jiu-jitsu. I'm 3 classes in.
3 classes
So
in.
now that I'm an expert, there's one thing that I noticed. Like participating in an aspect of mixed martial arts changes the lens that you watch mixed martial arts in.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a transitional state right now where I am a fan and I am a student. And there's different ways to watch events when you're a fan or when you're a student.
When you get into competing and training and all that, you look at the sport different.
Definitely.
You see it different, especially in the slow, not as entertaining fights.
Yeah.
Because you see
take more value.
done. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because one thing, again, being an expert in jiu-jitsu, that I realized is in UFC, specifically, I don't watch as much Bellator as I should, but training martial arts now, I'm more appreciating the actual martial art itself as opposed to the soap opera behind it, which is where the fan comes in. And again, I'm in a transition state, I believe.
Yeah.
So I'm getting the best of both worlds and whatnot. But watching UFC specifically, there's a lot of things that they don't give a lot of credit for. Like the judges, we can talk about the judges all day, but like the most basic thing is like being in somebody's guard in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like before becoming an expert, I was like, yeah, the guy on top is controlling the situation.
That's not always the case.
But it's not always the case.
No.
You
When
want to be on
Carlos
your back.
Condit, it's usually not the case.
Right.
Guys like him or both of the Diaz's or Crum Gracie.
Right.
Crum Gracie is
He's dead.
he's one. Gary Tonin, who fought this weekend.
Okay.
He was
You have to
putting
update
on
me on
ground
that.
mastery this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the ideal
Guys like
spot
that.
you want to be.
He didn't take bottom at all in his fight, but it was jiu-jitsu and positioning mastery that led to a beating that he dished out.
Yeah. So looking forward to continuing growing in jiu-jitsu, mixed martial arts, and just I would encourage anybody to do it for a couple reasons. First, if you're a fan of the sport, you get to understand it more.
Yeah.
And secondly, you just condition your body. Like, you fine-tune this wonderful creation that God has given you.
You make your mind and your body one.
Exactly. So I got a few nephews that are, the oldest is 3. I hope my sister doesn't watch this and I get this wrong. But I believe he's 3, or he will be 3 in May. And I'm anxious to get him into jiu-jitsu and athletics in general,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
The best, actually, for that, starting him what you started in.
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo first.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Joe Rogan, he even say that.
Tell me why.
Your body is more able to move. You learn that flexibility at a young age. You keep it longer in life.
Fair enough.
It will apply to every martial art you do after that.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Because
Yeah,
by default, I already have that base.
Yeah. And you are starting to get the idea of what it feels like being folded up in knots in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Another thing I learned is we'll touch more on the Michelle Waterson fight, or maybe we'll just jump into it right now. But Carolina Carol Kovacs, or whatever her name is. Kovalkovic. Carolina. I've watched a few of her fights, and I know that she has a Muay Thai base. Yeah. So I was talking to one of my buddies the other day, who also trains martial arts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's absolute, like I see and it was just something I seen. I haven't like experienced it before. I've never practiced Muay Thai, never sparred Muay Thai, nothing like that. And I'm like, when they have their hands on the opponent's head and they're just feeding them with knees, if I'm the opponent being held like that, I'm just getting out of that motherfucker. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why they just stand there and take knees all day until he put it on me.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't sound
It's
right.
very different.
But we'll edit that out, hopefully. The squeeze that they put on your neck makes them
It's called the plum.
The plum.
The position is called the plum.
I didn't know what it was called, but when
It's a tie clinch,
Yeah.
hand over hand, or Anderson Silva uses a fingers clasped tie clinch.
Right.
That one you can pull apart. Anderson uses it because he gets more control from elbows to direct a person's body around. I can hang on to someone in a tie clinch and throw them around all over the place, and then use right from the plum to push the weight back and elbows up the top. You can throw kicks while you're in that clinch. It's not just knees. It's not just knees. And the more varied that attack in that clinch is, and the more you're transitioning and shifting somebody's weight, they don't get enough. If you control the head, you control the body.
Fair enough.
If you start shaking somebody around all over the place and dragging them around, you'll ragdoll them really easily in that position. The more they're off balance, the more their hips aren't driven in towards yours to take away that space. That's what you want. You want to get it in, and that space is creating the lane for those strikes.
Okay.
Then once you're in, you can work on breaking the clinch up top. If you're out at distance, you're just going to get ate up.
Okay. So, for those who don't know, I'm pursuing an amateur fight, amateur mixed martial art fight. So what you're seeing right here, right now, is some of my training, actually. You know, I'm taking in the notes and I'm adding it to my bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I'll give you a little class on tie clinch later, because that's particularly my favorite technique to use. Yeah.
Nice. I plan to learn a lot until from now until the day I die, for sure. But I'm very into this whole mixed martial arts thing right now. So we'll do that. Maybe film it and give some to the viewers, maybe.
For sure.
But yeah, this week the card, the fights. I mean, amazing.
It was busy. Lots of finishes. Not one, but
all the finishes.
Three if you count the boxing as well.
If we're going
3 cards if you count boxing as well. But just a quick mention: Ryan Garcia is a monster.
Okay, educate me on Ryan Garcia, because I'm ignorant to most mixed martial arts.
You know what?
I'm a UFC guy.
I don't watch a lot of boxing.
Okay, boxing. I didn't even know he was a boxer.
Yeah. He fought for Golden Boy over the weekend.
Was that? There was a Golden Boy fight card last night? On Saturday night?
Yes.
There was also one in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that was the UFC.
That's the Golden Boy. No. There was another fight card in Philadelphia.
That might have been the same one. I'm not sure where that one was held.
I doubt it was
I just watched a little bit of the highlights for the Golden Boy event that Dazin promoted.
Right. Okay. I think there was another boxing card actually. But go ahead.
But he pieced up Jose Lopez last night. That was domination.
That was knockout? No.
That was a stoppage.
Stoppage.
He put him down, and he got up before the 10, but he was not up. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He got up, but the count
wasn't.
It didn't matter at that point. He was not back in the fight yet. So the fight got called.
That reminds me of a fight I seen recently.
Yeah. He's a monster. He's a monster. When he started training with Canelo, especially recently, it took him to another level. And his Instagram just looks like Savage Row. For Garcia, he's very, very busy training. Younger guy, good looking fella. Scary challenge to have to fight in boxing right now.
This was the main event?
He was the main event of his
Golden
show,
Boy.
I believe.
Golden Boy, eh?
Yeah.
Golden Boy's out of the mixed martial art business, that's fair to say.
God, I hope so. God, I hope so. If they come back with another Tito Ortiz, actually, you know what?
Yeah.
If they came back with Tito Ortiz, I wouldn't mind that so much, because Tito Ortiz to the end of his Bellator.
No,
he was
Tito Ortiz could still
right.
fight. He could still fight.
He could still go. Putting Chuck Liddell.
I mean, that was
God,
just name versus name. It wasn't like, I don't think
That's
anybody
exactly
in their right mind thought that Chuck Liddell was going to be competitive.
Nobody thought that was going to be a good fight. When we saw the pre-fight with Chuck shadowboxing, we all thought this was going to be a massacre, and it turned out to be back in November.
So listen to a thought I had.
Yeah.
Golden Boy and Dana White
Yeah.
have their issues.
Yep.
And there was a time where Golden Boy was like, Dana White, you're full of shit. And Dana White was like, you're full of shit. And then Golden Boy was like, no, you're full of shit. And they were going back and forth.
Yep.
And there was a time where Golden Boy's like, so why don't you put on the gloves and let's handle this. So he basically challenged. You heard that, right?
Yeah, Oscar was talking a bunch of shit.
Yeah, he was challenging Dana White to a fight. Like, that's so
Well,
silly.
at that point, what are you doing, Oscar? You're a former multiple-time world champion in boxing. You're going to fight that bald walrus-looking guy that's not fought a professional boxing fight ever.
Exactly.
Giving up maybe 50 pounds on him. Doesn't matter.
And then
You're going to wipe the deck with him. And of course Dana's not going to take that.
Yeah.
Dana's not taking that fight. And if he did, that does nothing collectively for either of your two promotions. It just makes you both look bad.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that.
No,
Nobody wants to see that just as badly, almost as equal as nobody wanted to see Floyd Mayweather fight that Asian kid. I think he was Asian.
Tenshin Nishikawa.
He was like 30 pounds underweight.
Well, it wasn't even that.
Yeah.
We knew before the fight that wasn't going to be a fight.
Right, exactly.
So before the fight it wasn't going to be a fight because Floyd, every time he fights, he says, I'm going to beat this person. Before a Tenshin fight, he just goes, I'm going to move around with this guy. It's kind of like sparring, but we're going to be a little more competitive than that. That was Japanese MMA for you, in some ways.
Can I complete my thought?
Yeah.
Floyd wants to fight. Oscar wants to fight. Can I complete my thought, or can I say less at this point?
You can keep going.
Floyd wants to fight. Oscar wants to fight.
They fought twice already.
Floyd wants to fight. Oscar wants to fight. Do you get where I'm going with this?
I get where you're going with this.
Why are they calling out people that they're like bullying people at this point in their game when they could have an equal fight?
That's not an equal fight.
Or more than equal.
That's more equal than what they're doing. But the difference being, if you take the Tenshin fight, Tenshin is very legit as a kickboxer. He is very legit currently as a kickboxer. When Floyd fought Conor McGregor is the biggest draw in fighting other than Floyd Mayweather. He was going after business. With the Tenshin thing, he made, $5 million to show up, to not fight, to get an experience in Japan. He's never fought pro in Japan before. Give him his Pride FC throwback moment. You know what it did? It brought a lot of people into that building that got something that they normally would not see.
Fair enough.
I don't think it was great, but...
No. And it was almost like WWE-esque. Excuse me one second, but I'm going to continue the conversation. It was almost WWE-esque in the way that this man was just dropping.
It was very worked. It was very worked.
So I just want to take everything at face value and say that it was authentic, it was genuine.
Yeah.
That made Conor look a little... Because I didn't know about even the Conor fight, if Mayweather was carrying him or what the case was. I don't think Mayweather would have carried anybody watching that other fight.
There was a difference. When Mayweather fought Conor, Mayweather went through 3 styles of boxing before he found the one that worked best against Conor. He was thinking during that fight. And Floyd doesn't start fast normally. This is what also looked weird and suspect with Tenshin's fight.
True. Yeah, he just jumped up.
Floyd, since he started having issues with his hands years ago and having multiple surgeries and all that for breaking hands, he became more of the guy that I'm gonna take 3-4 rounds to figure you out.
Figure it out. Yes.
And then I'm going to take a round to implement the changes, and then I'm going to pick you apart the rest of the fight. Sometimes it happened a little sooner than that, sometimes it happened a little later than that, and he would modulate his attack based on how much he needed to. He was very calculated.
Speaking about broken hands,
Yeah.
curious question.
Mm-hmm.
Does the wrapping of your hands
Yeah.
make the broken bones less noticeable when you hit something?
It depends, because you can have a wrap that you would have in the gym, which is regular hand wraps for training. You can have your gauze and your tape.
Right.
And your gauze and your tape is better. It's basically like a cast for your hand at the time. It's supposed to hold everything together. If you blow that up in the middle of the fight, it's blowing up under it.
If you blow what up?
Your hand. If you
Break
break some bones in your hand, you're going to
then
feel it
it's gonna
expand under that. Yeah. That's why I say exploding specifically.
Yeah.
It's going to be under that tape, and the tape is going to be holding it together.
Yeah.
What you have in a fight, though, is you have the adrenaline. The adrenaline will mask it. Keep throwing, deal with it after. Get your win, get your money, get out of there.
So listen, I feel I know the answer, but since we're speaking about it, do boxers and even mixed martial artists, with the way that they wrap their hands and everything and protect their hands, do they generally throw proper punches? Let's see what, and I don't even know if we have the same definition of a proper punch.
There is so many different ways to describe a proper punch for every different martial art that throws strikes.
Okay, so my general idea of a proper punch is connect with this, do not connect. Connect with the two biggest knuckles, you do not connect with the two smallest knuckles.
Yeah. See, in the way I was taught originally with big gloves, just connect on the flat.
Yeah.
Just connect on the flat. You're spreading the most damage out over that, but you're also spreading the most impact over your whole hand rather than just a smaller point of contact. You don't break your hand as easy.
With the
if you hit flush, you're getting more of a point of impact.
Yeah. I don't know.
What you want is not so much always the point of your knuckles, it's where they're landing.
Fair enough.
If you temple somebody or if you knock someone on the chin, that's what you want.
Right.
And you want to hopefully do it without breaking a hand in the process.
I think that's what I'm saying. Like if you use too much of these weaker ones,
your smaller bones are going to break easier.
Yeah. So it's more protection for you than getting the full force of your punch, protecting your weapons.
You go into a fight. If it's boxing, you have up to 12 rounds. If it's kickboxing, you have 3 or 4 in K1 rules. If it's MMA, you have up to 5, 25 minutes worth of 5 rounds. You can have a lot of damage given to your hands over that time. If you fight like Justin Gaethje, you can have a lot of damage over your hands. You got to dish out some volume. If you fight him, there's one characteristic of beating Justin Gaethje. You have to throw a lot of volume because nobody else is beating him with low volume.
He's going to be throwing a lot of volume right back at you.
But that's what he does. You have to overcome his volume, and he throws a high volume of strikes.
Okay.
He's very active.
There's so many fights last night or this weekend. Let's get into it. But first, I did forget to mention that we're taking suggestions from our audience every day. And again, we thank you and we're grateful for it. And one of the things that a few of our audience wants to see is regional fighters.
Yes.
And we have plans for that in the near future, maybe as early as even tomorrow. We have some killer fighters here in Red Deer.
Yeah.
Killer fighters here in Red Deer. I happen to be training with some of them.
Yeah.
We're gonna try and get them to give their fair share of opinions on the mixed martial arts world and whatnot. Maybe get some interviews and whatnot. And
the local thing is big, especially in Alberta and Western Canada.
Yeah.
The local thing is big, and that's what gets you
To the big,
to the big shows. You got to start small. You also want to know who's fighting. You get connected with the athletes in your area much more than you do with ones that are on the other side of the planet that you've never had a chance even to run into, meet out in public. The ones that are here are the next generation coming up.
Right.
Get to know them now.
Right.
Get to enjoy the rides with them.
What a night of fights.
It was busy.
The first thing that I wanted to, I know you didn't really watch the UFC fights as much as the highlights.
I watched more highlights than anything.
Okay.
I watched Justin Gaethje's fight in full. I watched David Branch's fight in full, and then it was just highlights. Most of that, and honestly, David Branch's fight basically was a highlight. I didn't think he was going to get stopped.
David Branch.
Yeah. At middleweight.
Yeah. We're going to go in order of the fights that came up in UFC. Youssef defeats Shayman Moraes. You didn't catch that one, did you?
No.
Okay, well, you didn't.
I caught from the main card up.
Okay, cool. Well, I think yeah, that was the main card opener.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyhow, we're not gonna. I just wanted to touch something quickly on that. Youssef won. Nigerian blood back in the building.
Yeah.
His fight was the 17th. What country did I say?
Nigeria.
Yeah, his fight was the 17th. Where's welterweight champion from?
Marty? You're from Nigeria.
Yeah, that's the country I'm thinking about there. There is 17 UFC fights in a row that Nigerians fought.
Yeah.
They have won.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Marty was 10 of those fights.
Marty was a beast.
And
Marty
he was
a beast.
this Youssef guy that I'm talking to you about was
Yeah.
the 17th.
Yeah.
The next fight after Youssef
Yeah.
was another Nigerian who ended the streak,
Oh.
unfortunately.
That's a long streak to have, to be honest, though. That's like Brazil won the first UFC of going back there, when that happened in 2013, I think. They had 2 cards in a row, I think, that every fight featured a Brazilian.
Yeah,
And
Brazil was
every fight that Brazilians were in them 2 events back-to-back, I think, were all wins. Something crazy like that.
Brazil was on a tear, and it looks like they're coming back on a tear right
Yeah.
now. It reminds me, I'm saying a stat here on the podcast, and there was a stat on the podcast that we have to fix correctly, because it's never too late to make a right decision.
Yeah.
And if you make mistakes, you should fix them. That's my opinion. So we had a stat. I put the stat out in regards to which fighter has won in 3 different weight classes.
Yes.
And we have to fix that.
Those were fighters that won in top 10 of the division in 3 weight classes.
Right.
There have been more that fought in 3 weight classes.
And I brought up BJ Penn's name, but he wasn't one of them.
No.
It was Kenny Florin.
Mm-hmm.
It was, who did it just a while ago? It was a few weeks ago.
Pettis.
Anthony Pettis, Showtime. And, of course, the person whose name might be in every one of our podcasts, Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to fix that. So Youssef, back to Youssef. What I wanted to talk to you, not so much about the fight, but basically, it was grappling heavy. His opponent, Moraes, was apparently a grappler. I'm not too familiar with these fighters too well, but it was evident during the fight that he was grappling heavy. And at the end of the fight, Youssef is like, "Sorry, guys." And during the fight, also, he's like, he had that moment that in Bellator, what's his name? He just fought. They had this long rivalry. They never fought in Bellator. There. Okay, let me think.
I can't think of who you're talking of at the moment.
2 black guys. That's racist. 2 black guys.
Well, there's a lot.
They
of
were.
those.
2 British black guys.
Oh, Michael Page and Paul Daly.
Paul Daly. he had that Paul Daly moment. Remember Paul Daly was fighting this jabroni, and it wasn't a jabroni. It was John Finch. John Finch.
Josh Koscheck, maybe?
No. Recently.
Oh yeah, then it would have been Fitch, yeah.
Yeah, and Fitch was just like holding him down, and in that fight, he was like, this is crap. This is crap. He was like, yeah. So, anyways, Yusuf had that moment. Yusuf had that moment during the fight, and he had that moment in the octagon after the post-fight interview, and he was saying stuff like, sorry guys, I wanted to fight. I wanted to stand and bang. Please put me into the ring or the octagon with somebody who doesn't just want to hug guys. Blah 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 blah. Your thoughts?
That's part of the fight, though. If you don't want it to happen, stop it from happening.
Exactly. Like, don't go down to the ground then. If that's not what you want.
If you fought George St. Pierre and you thought for sure he was going to wrestle you and just ground and pound or just hang off of you for 5 rounds, boy, I hope he came with a better game plan than just let him do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the upper level. When you're in North America, it's more wrestling centric for the sport. Anyways, if you go to other countries, other continents, if you go to Europe, there's a lot less wrestlers. There's a lot less of that.
Right.
European fighters are like that. If you go to Japan, there's a mix of the two because Japan does value wrestling more than Europe and more than Brazil even a little bit. Africa, as far as MMA is concerned, there's not a lot of Africans that are really into wrestling. There are some countries in Africa that's got some badass wrestlers. Right. But it's the transition over from wrestling to MMA from Africa and from European countries and all that. There's a bit of a disconnect in between. They like the jiu-jitsu. They like the striking, especially Europe. They love the striking. But there's one gap in that.
Wrestling.
If you don't have wrestling or something where you can dictate where the fight takes place, you don't get to choose anymore.
Exactly. You're
got
at the mercy of your opponent. Yeah. And it reminds me of a conversation we had just like an hour ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, again, I'm just starting to train and whatnot, and wrestling is not something I've ever practiced. And I was just like, I don't need to practice wrestling because if anybody comes in with a double leg, he's eating a knee before he gets there. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And again, you could talk all the talk you want to talk. You never know until you get into there. Yeah. But that's my thoughts. I'm like, I'm just going to knee the mother. Beep, beep.
Yeah.
Eat a knee or eat a nice uppercut. Yeah. And I don't have to worry about that. But obviously there's levels and there's
levels. There's levels and feints can be tricky to read.
Yeah.
If somebody feints you a couple times, they feint a takedown and then blast you in the head with a punch. Ouch, that sucks.
Yeah.
They hit you in the head, and then they feint like they're going to do that, and then they throw a kick. Okay, well, you just ate a kick off a feint, and then maybe they go up to the head and straight down on the takedown. It becomes impossible to read at some level.
And that's how he knocked down Conor.
Well, he made his game unbelievably difficult for Conor, and when Conor believed that only one thing was coming, that's when the other thing was coming.
Yeah. When
he believed it was just the takedowns he had to worry about, he forgot all about the punches and he got dropped to his ass.
Yeah.
Happens. To the best.
The Karate Hottie.
Very good fighter.
Very good fighter.
Very good fighter.
Listen,
I've been a fan of hers for a long time.
For what reason?
Long time.
For what reason?
Well, she's attractive as fuck, too.
I'm good.
She's attractive as fuck, but she's a really good MMA
No, definitely.
She's very good martial arts.
And wrestling. No, she's a strong wrestler. I don't know.
No, she's more Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, is that
Actually, her best fight that I watched, that I just enjoyed watching, was when she fought and won the Invicta FC Atomweight title. When she fought for the 105-pound title against Jessica Penne, they both moved up to 115 and came to the UFC since then.
Right.
But back then, that was such a busy ground fight. If you're a fan of jiu-jitsu and fighting, That is
Which
that is an
I'm not a fan.
amazing fight.
I'm not
to
only a
watch.
fan, I'm a student. as
Yes. Yeah. That one, as far as women's fights that were great ground fights, I rank that one as highly for entertainment in jiu-jitsu as I do maybe Diego Sanchez and Caro Parisian. There's an old throwback
well.
fight.
You're giving me some homework to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those were amazing fights. Those were
Ground
really good
fights, grappling heavy.
Very grappling heavy fights. Lots of transitions, lots of attempts. You want to see how the ground works. Those are some great fights for the men's and the female divisions.
So how much of the Michelle Watterson fight did you watch last night?
Last night,
Just
it
the
was
highlights?
just highlights of
Well,
it.
she had Michelle Watterson, from what I remember, she got her strikes off, and she I think it was 2 judo throws, I'm sure, that got her into side control,
Yep.
where the fight was, she was dominating the fight in that side control. Elbows to the head, I believe, knees to the body. Carolina, she almost threatened to take her Watterson's head with her feet. Like, she was like going for something. You know what I mean?
Going for triangle.
Triangle, right? Exactly. And Michelle Watterson read the play well and readjusted correctly, and she dominated.
When it comes to jiu-jitsu and when it comes to being on the ground, you want control of 2 things. You want control of hip position and wrists.
Yes.
Think about it. If you're on your back, there's an imaginary line across the center of your chest. If an arm goes over it, that arm becomes a weakness. If an arm touches the ground, that arm becomes a weakness.
Yes.
It does.
Yeah.
Because
I knew about the ground one. I never thought about this.
Well, here's the thing. If it crosses over, it's out of the way. You can adjust your hips. You can work for arm bars and triangles yourself right off of that. And you get wrist control on that arm that's already over. You don't have to drag it into position. You just have to hold it. If an arm drops to the ground, you go for a Kimura. You're right there. If someone drops their head down and it's on either side of you, you can grab that head. Sit up a little bit and take the neck.
That's how I kept getting choked out
That
day.
That is a problem for wrestlers when they start doing jiu-jitsu. They bury their heads a lot because they use their head as pressure to control. And in jiu-jitsu, you do as well, but it's the center of the body only. It's the center of the body only. And wrestlers, you'll get your head to the outside of somebody's body to control how you're trying to make them
do
fall.
that in mixed martial arts.
If you do it in MMA,
choked
they
out.
can grab the head.
There's so many elements to this.
There's levels to this.
So many.
There's
It's
levels
crazy.
to jump.
You know, they call it mixed martial arts, but I believe that they should just call it martial arts, and it should just be one thing. Like kind of like how UFC has, or the sport called mixed martial art has it.
Yeah.
But there's different rules for different organizations. But like growing up, I thought Taekwondo was the end all and be all. If I learned this thing, I could kick anybody's ass, which is not the case.
Joe Rogan thought the same until he
Exactly.
did one kickboxing class, and then his eyes opened up and he goes, "Oh my God, there's a big weakness to this. I have no hand skills.
Yeah.
I thought I had hand skills, and I thought that this point sparring where you jump in, where you lunge in, throw your strike and get out was the end all be all. It can be if you're really a specialist at it. You can make that work. But it's very hard when somebody goes, I'm going to eat that punch, or I'm going to get out of line of that punch or kick and stay right in your face and continue to throw. How do you deal with it now when you're backing up and they're still in your face?
Yeah, to me,
every martial art has a weakness, and the point of mixed martial arts is to find those weaknesses and to bridge gaps between them, combining everything to make the perfect fighter. That is the point of the sport.
Yeah, right.
The point of the sport now. The original point of the sport was to promote Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu originally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The Gracies used that as the vehicle. promote sports. That's why they had Taekwondo versus Jiu-Jitsu, Karate versus wrestling,
Yes.
Sumo versus
And Jiu-Jitsu
Kempo.
was wiping the floor with
And
everything at the
Jiu-Jitsu was
beginning.
wiping the floor with everything off to start with 170-pound, 6'1" Royce Gracie. In North America, anyways. They were doing Gracie challenges in Brazil and all over the place elsewhere.
I'm excited to see what that Chrome Gracie
Chrome Gracie's-
does. He looks dangerous.
He's very, very
What weight
good.
class is he? Do you remember?
He's
55?
145.
45.
Yeah.
So he might be able to
Yeah.
come up.
Actually, you know what? If I could have a dream fight when he's able, I would love to see him against Brian Ortega. But they're both Gracie guys. They're both California Gracie guys.
So
It may not happen.
I was gonna say
Mhm.
Khabib.
Khabib would be good.
Yeah.
Khabib would be good. Khabib also and Ben Askren would be good.
Yes, that one. would be
Khabib
good.
would be.
Dream matchup segment.
Yeah. There's a lot in those weight classes that are so close together. You can have a lot of fights
Yeah, they're gonna
that
change that.
interchange some divisions that are. You can get a lot of fights that the divisions themselves don't hold. That would be really awesome.
Yeah. So Michelle Watterson, she rocked. She wants to make history.
Yeah.
She not only does she want to be the champion in her weight
She
class.
wants to be the first champ that's got a kid
She wants to
before
be
getting the champ.
baby. What does she call herself? The mama champ.
Yeah.
Mama champ.
Yeah.
I'm always for like history making. You know what I mean? But she should have another fight or two. I would say one at least.
I think they're pushing her maybe. Well, she's very, very tested over time. In the UFC, however, there are some people in that division, there are some girls in that division that are ahead of her that she should get through maybe one more at least. To really stamp her claim on that top contender spot.
I have noted a name for her. You want to know that name that I noted for her?
Fire away.
Claudia Gadella.
The difference maker in the division.
Yeah, she's a beast.
She's a beast. And the crazy thing is, I don't know if she'll ever get the title in that division, but
She can't
man,
beat Rose?
she's good. I think she's fought
They
Rose
fought
or
her?
not. I think so. Yeah, I'm sure they have.
Yeah, well, no, I don't remember.
Gadella fought JJ twice.
Mhm.
Joanna Jacek. And both of those, the first one was razor close decision.
Yeah,
the
I remember those ones.
The second was close, but it wasn't as close. And then I believe she fought Rose already, and it didn't go her way.
What about since you bring up JJ,
Yeah,
Michelle Watterson, JJ?
be a great fight. Be a
JJ
great
doesn't
fight.
have a dance partner, I don't think. Right now.
If she doesn't, that would be a great fight. JJ's a scary task for everybody in that
Well,
division.
I
That's
mean,
the
if
reason
Michelle
to do it.
Watterson wants to be
That's-
a champion.
That's
she has
the
to prove
reason to
herself.
do it, but the UFC doesn't want to kill off a contender on the way to the belt. You want to kill off the champion to create flux in the division.
Yeah, new matchup, someone.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. I would love to see Michelle Watterson.
because
and
if you said Michelle Watterson and Joanna Jacek for the title, maybe cool. If she got the title, if you wanted to say before that Claudia versus Michelle Watterson, that's actually a more stylistically difficult fight probably for Michelle.
Mhm.
But that's one that's more in line of a challenge. Ironically.
UFC likes to make money.
Yeah.
I think that money. I don't know how that
That-
works. The money
that-
fight would be JJ Michelle.
Yeah, it would be.
I think.
It would be.
And because I don't know the numbers, but I would just imagine Michelle has a huge fan base.
Michelle's got a pretty big following.
Um,
JJ has a big
For that
following.
purpose alone, she might get the next title shot just for that purpose.
Yeah.
She doesn't deserve
That
it.
happens.
Or she, you know what I mean?
She's
It's not that she doesn't deserve it, but
she deserves it, but she may not have earned it over other girls in the division just yet.
Tatiana Suarez is on a tear, undefeated.
Yeah. She's got a little ways to go yet.
Yeah.
She's got a ways to go yet.
I'm hearing that she might
She's
get
very,
the next
very
title
good.
shot. She has a fight coming up. She can win that one. I'm hearing that she might.
I thought it was against Claudia.
No. I have it
Who
here.
is she fighting?
Nina Ansaroff.
Nina. I forgot that. Yeah. Even still, like, Nina's not the top girl in the division either.
So that should be.
I would still say
like
one more after that for
Tatiana.
Tatiana if she won against Nina.
Well,
There's your fight there.
They're fighting real soon, so maybe Michelle Waterson and
fight
Tatiana right there.
That's the way to get it, because sure, you might kill off a contender, but you kill off a contender with another contender.
Yeah.
You find the better of the two, and then you take that to the title. You know what? That might even be it.
That's probably
That
it.
might even be it. If you're looking at the rankings and looking who's booked right now, and looking who's coming off wins and losses, and who's in flux and in use at the moment, that might be the fight. And performance is everything. If you have great performance that will propel your name louder than a lackluster performance. Sometimes, actually a lot of times, that can sway the decision just like that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So when Michelle Waterson and the Carolina fight was over,
Yeah.
I felt like I got my money's worth.
Yeah.
There were still fights left.
Oh yeah.
Not only in UFC, but in one, we're going to touch up on. But in UFC, I don't want to spend too much time on Josh Emmett defeating Michael Johnson. Did you catch that?
That was a hell of a shot.
That was a hell of a shot. And that's all you had to see, really.
Yeah.
That's all you really had to see. It was almost like he was saving that shot. Because I think it was in the third round.
Yeah.
Maybe? It was the third round.
It was deep into the fight. Josh Emmett is known for throwing heavy strikes. The thing with Michael Johnson at 145 is the same thing I thought of Anthony Pettis at 145.
Yeah,
it's too low, and he can't take a shot as well at that. And I know he needed to do something to shake
his career
up. I think the thing was moving up rather than moving down.
Yeah, I think there's so many fighters that get success moving up.
There's a funny thing to that. Fighters do get initial success going up. Mm-hmm. It doesn't last a long time, though.
Okay.
It doesn't last a long time, though. Because you can look at Donald Cerrone. He went up, and I think it was 3 or 4 fights in a row, that he dominated. And then he ran into some roadblocks. And then now he's looking to come back down. And it's happened with a lot of them. RDA's another one. Went up, had initial success that was huge, even including former champ Robbie Lawler.
My philosophy, I guess is the right word.
Mm-hmm.
Or we'll stick with philosophy.
Yeah.
Is you got to time it right. It's almost like fighting. You got to be in and you got to be out right. You got to be in right. You got to be out right. You can't be in too long. You get knocked out. You can't be out too long. You can't strike. So the thing is, if you're going to go up a weight class with the success that I've been seeing, and this is just a philosophy that holds no scientific evidence or anything, it's just a thing for me, is you go up, you have success, like statistically you are going to have, you come right back down.
Yeah.
And this is what I want Anthony Pettis to do, and I think he's the first person that's going to do it right. He went up, he had that success with Wonder Boy, and now he's going to go back down and get a big fight.
Yeah.
He's going to get, I think he's going to get Anthony Pettis. Who did they say he might get? He's going to get a big fight. I wanted to say Max Holloway Poirier winner, but that would be for Khabib.
Yeah.
I heard that he's going to get a big fight next at 155.
There's talks about a few fights for him, but not very far along yet. Not very far along yet, I don't think. It's... He honestly...
Oh! Gaethje! That's who they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Gaethje would be great.
Because Gaethje has to get that fight. Because
here's one horrible thing that for Pettis, Gaethje is the exact style fighter that gives Pettis all the problems in the world again.
Yeah.
And he wanted, at 170 at least anyways, he did want to fight RDA. again. He wanted to rematch him, and
that's a fight I'm into. I'm into that.
RDA took the steam out of the sails of Anthony Pettis, and I think he wanted to get that fight back for a bunch of reasons. Justin Gaethje is high pace. Justin Gaethje has the highest in the UFC, the highest percentage of strikes landed per minute, and the highest percentage of strikes absorbed per minute.
Yeah.
And his percentage absorbed is, I think it's four or five strikes higher per minute than everybody else.
That's too high. It's just too high. That's all.
He's playing with fire.
Yeah.
He's the greatest example of someone that doesn't do the thing the right way and makes it work. Everybody, when you take a boxing class, when you take a jiu-jitsu class, when you take
there's certain things that you don't do.
They say, stay away from this. This is going to be problems. Justin Gaethje goes the other way.
Yeah.
Justin Gaethje goes the other way, and he's a fan favorite for it, and he is Vanderlei Silva 2.0 for it.
Fair enough. You watched the Gaethje fight.
Yes.
Last thing I want to say about the Michael Johnson fight is Michael Johnson talks too much. He talks too much. Just win the fight. You're not there yet.
He's been like that since The Ultimate Fighter. Since the season of The Ultimate Fighter he was on.
Talk with your fist.
He's got to talk with performance.
I think, and we spoke about something like this on the drive here. I think it was just 1 second he lost focus.
Yep.
Because he
shouldn't
have been in that position to take that shot. Because the whole fight, there was overhand rights the whole fight, but he was angling right. He was doing the right things. I think he just I got this in the bag. Stepped left when he should have stepped right.
Moment of complacency will get you.
That's exactly what I think.
It got Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
If it got Anderson Silva, it'll get anybody.
Gaethje, we talked a lot about him. I don't know if we have much more to say about him.
Gaethje fought like the Gaethje that was fighting in WSOF. The leg kicks came back. Low kicks. And he got immediately off of the thing. And it's a big deal when you're a kickboxer or boxer, whoever lands that first strike puts it in their opponent's mind. And if you noticed, Barboza tried to keep with that pace early on.
He did.
Yeah. He did.
It was like kick for kick at one point.
He took 2 kicks, and then he started firing kicks back.
Yeah.
Every time Gaethje kicked him, he tried to kick him back.
Right.
And he was showing wear on his leg almost immediately, and Justin Gaethje kicks unbelievably hard. The fastest kicker in the division by far is Edson Barboza, and it just didn't matter. It just didn't matter because he was in his face, he never let off of the gas, and the only times he took stutter steps instead of full steps forward is when he was gauging distance to see what Barboza was going to do when they got close to the fence, and he had damaged him and rocked him. He didn't want to wade in, too aggressively and get caught with something.
Yeah.
Because Barboza can shut you off at one.
Definitely. I didn't see no spinning kicks. I was waiting for that.
He was in his face too much for that.
That's why it was. Yeah.
He was in his face too much for that. And every time just hammer the leg.
Speaking of spinning
Take away
kicks,
the movement. What Barboza, take away the movement.
One thing I forgot about Karate Hottie,
Yeah.
and they were mentioning it in the broadcast, and I was watching it, and I was like, damn, they're right. On another side note, I'm a big fan of the jab.
Yep.
And I think it's underused in MMA.
It still is.
I don't do MMA often enough to maybe know why it's not used more, but I think it's an effective tool. It should be used a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not.
You know what? And it has a lot of reasons why it's not used as much. Guys that use it a lot use it very well, and they have very good success with it. George St. Pierre being the top of the list.
Right.
He's maybe not the best at throwing a jab. He's got a very good jab.
Yeah.
But
and he uses it.
He uses it.
You can't have a good one unless you use it.
BJ Penn in his prime had a very good jab. There's guys in MMA that do use it and do use it well. There's not as many, and a lot of it sometimes comes down to you're at kicking range with a fighter, and if you get in close enough to jab, someone can get a takedown because they're within range to shoot.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely reason.
You have to set up terms to your combat environment to land any strike, any takedown. If you lay the groundwork to be able to land the jab, throw the jab. If you're moving laterally a lot and stinging with a jab and then setting up your cross,
I like that.
Cool.
I like
do that. If you are throwing feints and then taking a large step in and jabbing on that entry to get into position, maybe to get that takedown, use it. You're finding range on the first one. You're landing on the second one to get the defenses upward, and then getting under the defense and going for the legs. There's ways to use it, and guys, this is one on lower levels especially. You don't see it as much because they don't have enough time in the game where they have enough of the weapons all together to use them. Anderson Silva has a great jab when he wants to use it. Anderson Silva, when he wants to be at kicking range, he uses the kicks. He uses straight kicks, the foot jab, the teep from Muay Thai. He uses that a lot.
Yes, teep.
He uses his jab with his hands a lot when he's in closer range than that. It's a range finder. He can sting you with a jab and then throw it back again and grab the back of the head by overextending. And then he can get his tie clinch and start throwing knees and elbows from that. It depends on what you're using the weapon for and the terms of use.
So the reason why I bring it up with Karate Hottie is not only that she's using her jab, but she's using it, but her kicks are so quick that they're almost like jabs themselves.
Yes.
And she switches stances so much that she could have a left jab or a right jab with her feet. And I'm just like, damn, she kicks so quick.
That's what you get with lighter weight fighters too.
Yeah.
The lighter the weight, the higher the speed.
And is lighter the weight, another thing I noticed yesterday with all the fights that I watched, the girls that I watched yesterday, I hadn't made a mental note of it prior. I'm going to start making a mental note of it now when I watch fights. But it seems like the girls are more capable of switch stancing, and the lower weight guys are more capable of switch stancing.
Yeah.
And I like that. I don't think I can ever do that.
Higher weight guys know that they have a longer longevity to their career. It's going to last longer. They don't, as a process of being bigger, you're slower. As a process of being bigger, you hit harder. Heavier fighters rely on their power.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why they don't switch stance. Guys that do switch stance at higher weight divisions like John Jones become a mystery to a lot of guys.
And he's a bigger guy. He's a bigger
John
weight,
Jones
but he's still like, to me, he's like small. Although I know the weight is the weight.
The weight is
like
the weight,
his frame is...
His frame is odd.
Yeah.
He has an oddly shaped frame for that, but it is the hybrid frame that MMA probably eventually will go to. Every sport has a body type that does best in it.
Yeah, and then
if you look at triathletes, they're usually longer, taller, leaner to a degree. If you look at the 100-meter dash, they're short, stocky, and they go from 0 to 100 at holy shit speed.
Unless your name is Usain Bolt.
Unless it's Usain Bolt. There's always some that break
the outliers.
Yeah, there's outliers to everything like that.
So the size topic, let's go to the smaller sizes.
Yeah.
Good segue to the smaller sizes. Mighty Mouse. 1 championship. My heart was kind of like, I had mixed emotions of the fight when I was watching it because I'm going to tell you this. Let me think if I could remember my thought. I wanted him to win. Yeah. But I also wanted him to lose. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I wanted him to win because on my fan side, I'm a fan of Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
Reason why I wanted him to lose was so that North America, Dana White specifically, gets that shit all the best fighters aren't in the UFC.
Oh, I know where you're going with
You
this,
get what I'm
yes.
saying?
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I wanted him to lose.
Yeah. Honestly, and DJ said it after the fight, he goes, you can bring John Jones over here. John Jones may have problems with the 200 or 205 pound champion here.
Mm-hmm.
The distance traveling from home to there to compete can screw you up. The fact that it's different food that you're eating before making weight, before competing, that can screw you up. The time difference in itself, because it's a different time zone, that can screw you up. There's a lot of different things. And different nerves because you're fighting for a different organization in front of a different type of crowd.
Right.
The biggest thing I looked at for that fight was I was so happy to see Demetrius in front of a crowd that appreciated him a hell of a lot more.
Crowds, before I forget, we're going to continue with that. Philadelphia was where the UFC event was being held.
And Justin Gaethje was a great fit for fighting in that city.
I never heard crowd, and I'm sure there's examples of this, but I personally never heard crowds boo so often when there was like an eye poke or a low blow. And I'm just like, to me, I'm just like, relax, crowd. Like, he got hit in the guts.
Philly is very vocal. Philly is very vocal.
And
New
then,
York is too. If you go to
Right.
New York, New Jersey is very vocal.
and then to compare that to one championship, where
You can hear a pin drop in some
they're
arenas.
clapping when
Yep.
there's a good move,
Yep.
and they're appreciating the athleticism much more.
They appreciate the art
Right.
on such a different level. It's very different. And some of the shows in Asia, they don't allow you to drink. Some of the shows, they don't allow you to drink there. So you're drinking in the show, not some alcohol and silliness in the stands. That does happen at almost every show. But
And I think that there's something about cleanliness in regards to that too. Like, I heard an example. If you go to like a football game in North America compared to a sporting event in Japan per se, like the seats in the North American stadium are so much messier than the ones in Japan. I don't know if Japan's the actual country, but somewhere down there, they clean up their own mess.
Yeah, but also in North America, it's so much more a country of excess.
That too. Yeah.
There's something to that. And that's a cultural difference.
Yeah.
That's a cultural difference. But the cultural difference as well, if you're going to go to Saitama, Japan, with 100,000 people in your arena,
Right.
you can hear a pin drop in that arena as a fight's going on
Right.
sometimes because everybody in that building is tuned in and watching every second of that fight.
I would need to watch my fights over there because I'm telling you, when it comes to watching fights,
if you watch old Pride fights, watch when Quentin Jackson fought. He was Mauro Ranallo used to call him Action Jackson in fights sometimes.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a nickname that stuck or anything, but he would just throw that out there once in a while. Stephen Quadros, I think, said that too once or twice. You could hear the arena, like if somebody dropped their fries or whatever the hell they were eating
everybody would
in the stands, everybody in the fucking building would look because you'd hear it.
Yeah.
That's why every time when you watch a fight from there, you hear the strikes so much.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like fights have a speaker that comes down over the combat surface. In Japan, when Mirko Cro Cop in his prime would crack guys with a kick to the body, it would turn your guts in the crowd or on TV even, but especially like in the crowd, you could hear it. It's like, oh fuck, that's horrible.
You hear it so loud, it almost felt like you got hit.
Yeah.
You'd be like, damn, that hurt.
You could never do that here. On a regional show here, you almost can't do that in some places.
Yeah.
There's been times in the Bell Center, I believe they held some TKO events back in
Montreal.
2004. Yeah, this is Montreal. Yeah. And even those, this was like GSP before he got to the UFC. Even those, it was hard to hear the strikes.
Because everybody's making noise.
Because everybody was making noise in the crowd.
That's the thing I'm trying to say. Like, I need to go to Japan and watch my fights because one thing And
it's a totally different experience.
My sister will attest to this too. It's just like, commercial time, you could talk to me. But I'm watching the fights right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
sports in general.
And that's why I'm so sensitive as to who I watch the fights with.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I am for the most part too. I got my group I like watching fights with, and they kind of know when something's going on. If I'm really tuned in, you could be doing anything beside me. I don't care.
Yeah. So anyways, so Mighty Mouse goes, he wins, and I'm happy that he done so.
Yeah.
And again, I would have been happy if he lost.
He had a little bit of adversity in that fight too, and that was a good thing.
I'm more happy that he won.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, I said this to somebody today. I still got what I wanted out of. Remember, I said I wanted him to win and I wanted him to lose.
Yeah.
I still kind of got what I wanted because he won. Yes.
He got tested.
He got tested.
Got
like
tested.
I think the way how I viewed the fight, I know he viewed it differently. You viewed it. Everybody viewed it differently. But to me, I was watching that fight and I was just like, oh my gosh, Demetrius Johnson is desperate for the finish. Not that he doesn't finish all his... He has that hunger to finish all his fights.
Yes.
But to me, he looked more desperate to finish that fight. Again, just my opinion. Because he felt so threatened. He's like, I got to get out of this ring quickly. Let me finish this guy quickly. Let me get the fuck out of here quickly. That's how I felt.
That's cool, because I didn't get that sense of it. But I got the sense of a Demetrius Johnson fight in the build-up. He was very excited to be fighting for a different organization. He was very excited to show his craft to an Asian audience, and he wanted to do that. And he got a guy that had strengths that would contrast his a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Demetrius Johnson was getting a lot of takedowns. He was using a lot of trips. He was up against the fence. He was using trips from behind and in front a lot, and his opponent was able to get his base under him well. This is a wrestling thing specifically. Get his base under him, get back up.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to deal with. It's almost undescribable how difficult that is to wrap your brain around. How difficult that is. When you got somebody that fights you that can do that you go, I worked so hard for this takedown, and they just shot back up.
Yeah, and he was affected by that with his first few takedown attempts, if I remember the fight correctly. But then after he started, like, chain wrestling, I think they call it chain wrestling.
Yeah. Where you just
does it all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where they just continue the chain. Oh, this doesn't work. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to link to this, and then I'm going to link to this. Over a while, that will break down your opponent. It will tire them out. You got to have a hell of a gas tank to do that.
Which Demetrius Johnson seems to have.
The thing with that, when you continuously chain stuff together, you can do it with strikes. You can do it with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You can do it with wrestling. If you want to just say it's submission grappling in general, submission grappling when you're using wrestling and jiu-jitsu, or wrestling and judo and jiu-jitsu, or sambo, or whatever, sooner or later, if you line up enough stuff linked together, you're going to find a weakness.
Yeah,
you're going to find the weakness. And in the scrambles, his opponent was very good in the scrambles. He got to a point where he left his neck free.
Yeah.
And his back got back to the cage, where naturally, if you want to stand up, if you get your back to the fence, you can use the fence as something to hold you, to where you can put your base, dig your base into your heels and your feet, and stand up.
Yeah.
When Demetrius was over top of him and grabbing onto that choke, what he was doing with that was forcing his weight down and forward. And it locks you against the fence, and he tightens up the choke when he pushes his hips in. That's a wrap, son.
Yeah.
You're not getting out of that.
That looks so tight. I felt so sorry for dude.
And the thing with that is, in that specific position, you have no leverage to deal with your opponent.
Yeah.
You can't really push off at anything. You're trying to defend the choke as best as you can with a hand and trying to do something. You can't grab the fence because that's a foul. You try to push off, but your legs are all bunched up in front. You just don't have anywhere to go.
Dude was game. Dude was
very game.
I got to give all my props to him. I'm definitely going to be watching more of One Championship now that
you should.
You know,
very good fights in there.
I almost think of that as
they're actually getting a lot better now too, and they're signing. They want to do shows in North America as well here and there.
That would be nice. I almost think of it as like a cross promotion, even though it's not a cross promotion.
Yeah.
But like they got the UFC stars there now. You know what I mean?
And there's fighters and athletes that work better in different promotions. Ironically, the Diaz brothers.
They're not for the UFC. They're not for the UFC.
They don't work with the UFC.
No.
They don't. They would work great with Bellator.
Yeah.
Demetrius Johnson didn't work well with the UFC. He works amazing for One Championship.
Although,
Ben Askren was great for One Championship, but his best is in the UFC.
Who?
Ben Askren.
Yeah. Him. He's a perfect example. He should have been there a lot sooner.
Yeah.
So now I'm talking about the UFC stars going to One. So another notable name was Eddie Alvarez.
Eddie Alvarez.
So I happened to watch the DJ fight first.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I shared this thought with you. I shared it with somebody today. But after watching the DJ fight and how competitive it was,
yeah,
and then moving on to watching the Eddie Alvarez fight, before watching the Eddie Alvarez fight, I'm like, Eddie Alvarez lost this. Because if the Asians are so competitive against Demetrius Johnson, who has North Americans, myself included, know him as the greatest in the world at his weight class, then Eddie Alvarez is going to have troubles. Yeah. And I watched the fight, and I seen the only thing I seen was you sent me the clip. Yeah, so you sent me the clip, and I'm very good at this, not reading things when I'm looking at a clip. Yeah. So you sent me a clip, but what I did see was knocked out, and that's the only thing I seen. So I'm like, one of these motherfuckers got knocked out, and then I seen that it was like a 5-minute clip. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready for work, but I do have 5 minutes to watch this. So I watch it, and I'm like, Eddie got knocked out. Although I didn't read the words, I'm just like, Eddie got knocked out. Yeah. And then watching the fight and seeing how it was playing out, I'm like, oh my gosh, Eddie is going to get knocked out. Yeah. It's going to happen any second now. And lo and behold, McGregor came to mind in the lead up to Eddie Alvarez fight. Yeah. I don't know how he said it. I don't know the exact words he said, but he's like, dude, you get hit too often.
Yeah. You want to know something really funny about that? Eddie Alvarez and Frankie Edgar train together. They're both the same way.
Yeah?
They're both game as fuck, but they both get hit a lot. And the crazy thing with Eddie is Eddie made some of the name that he made for himself early on in his career was over in Asia, over in Japan.
Yes.
He's very good. He's either won the championship everywhere he's been or beaten the final champion of every promotion that he didn't fight in. You know, like he, as far as a decorated lightweight champion goes, the world's round, Demetrius might be the most accomplished champion in the UFC. He's got the most defenses. Nobody can touch him.
For that weight class?
For that,
okay.
No. Just in the UFC in general. He's got the most defenses without a break in between of his title.
Well, you know.
He's got a title winning streak that nobody else can touch. But he's got it in one promotion only. He didn't have the title in WEC. He doesn't have the title in one. He never fought in Dream. Stuff like that.
Technically speaking, I normally start saying like this with I could be wrong, but I'm not going to say that this time because I'm very confident I'm right. But technically speaking, consecutive title fight wins.
Yeah.
GSP could still get that.
Yeah.
Technically speaking.
Technically speaking, if you say he came back and he... No, it wouldn't be consecutive because it would have been... Consecutive would be in a row with the same belt. When you start with another belt, that starts you up again.
We could word it differently to make it seem that way.
Yeah, you can. You can. Yeah. George and Dominic Cruz are the only ones to leave as long as they did and come back and win a title as fast as they did.
Yeah.
George is the only one to come back directly into a title fight and win.
Yeah,
Dominic
Cruz
had a tune-up fight first.
He had a tune-up while he was still the champion? I don't remember how that worked.
No. He had the title stripped from him because he was away a long time.
Okay,
And then Henan Barao got the belt.
Yes, I remember now. And
then we went to TJ, who...
Okay, so time is against us, and this studio is very expensive. Thanks, shout-outs to our sponsors, Utoya, for making this possible, and the sponsors that are... we should be able to finalize things and get your names mentioned next week.
Sponsors are good.
Sponsors are very good. We thank you, and we thank our audience again tremendously.
Yeah.
Next week, Atlanta. You gonna be there? UFC 236. You want to go?
I'm down for that.
Yeah?
I want
to take a quick flight. I just got my passport the other day.
I've got a passport.
Yeah. Could do that. Never been to Atlanta. Get some live footage.
Atlanta.
I heard the girls in Atlanta.
Girls in Atlanta. Barbecue in Atlanta. Culture.
Yeah. We'll check our schedules. We'll see if we can make it possible.
I could go for some fried chicken and waffles before a flight back.
Yeah. No.
That's a thing. That's a real thing.
Nice.
But the fights? Oh yeah.
Fights. Okay, so there's just two notable ones that I want to talk about, and I was gonna do it in order of main event versus non-main event, just the two fights. Yeah. But you know what? I'm gonna go straight to the dessert, I guess you could say. Straight to the main event. Maxie Holloway. Dustin Poirier, the rematch.
UFC actually put their first fight onto YouTube today in prep for that.
You know what? I can't watch those. I can't watch that fight. I can't watch that fight.
You know what? They're so different now from when they were back then. Mm-hmm. But watching that fight earlier before this fight, because I haven't watched it again yet.
Me neither.
Watching that fight and then watching what they've become since,
they're different.
Is so dramatic. They're totally different fighters.
First thing that I heard today is Max Holloway during their first fight. Mm-hmm. I don't know where he's at right now. Yeah. But he was a white belt in jiu-jitsu during their first fight. I might be better at jiu-jitsu than he was at that time.
He was very green in jiu-jitsu. And he got finished, I believe, by submission in that fight too.
I can't remember the fight specifically, but I mean, Conor had his way with Max Holloway on the ground.
Conor had his way. With torn ACL.
Yeah. So I'm
taking him down at that time.
The first fight, I'm sure a person is a person is a person. Their core is their core, for sure.
Here's something.
But there's so much added to the core is what I'm trying to say.
Here's something that's a cool little thing to think of. Jose Aldo at one point was a world champion Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist.
I wouldn't have known that, honestly, by watching.
Most people don't because he's so dominant with his hands.
Right.
And
his leg kicks.
He trained in a style that was very predominant for the 5-year stretch that most champions get. Mm-hmm. You have upgrades to the game that go in a 5-year span, and that's where the game evolves. It gets about 5 years of doing the same thing, and then you see one person do something different, and the whole thing changes for another 5 years, and then the next 5 years, and the whole thing changes again. Mm-hmm. Aldo's game, because he was so good at it stuck longer.
Yeah.
Same with George St. Pierre. It stuck longer.
Gaethje,
he's doing 2003 still.
Yeah, and
he's fighting like a guy from 2003
still. That he I'm going to watch the fight again, but he did show some wrestling in this fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't take him down or anything, but he had some level changes.
Yep.
And he did threaten a takedown at least one point, maybe twice. Once, that's for sure.
Yep.
And I think that's what got Barboza thinking more.
Well, that's all it is.
Barboza was thinking from before because, like I said last week, I'm like, Gaethje's going to wrestle this fight. So Barboza must have been thinking, Gaethje might wrestle this fight.
Here's the thing, and it's like I told you earlier. What's the most predictable thing that could happen in a fight? the unpredictable thing.
Exactly.
Because as soon as you get complacent by thinking this is all that my opponent has, they can come with something different.
Yeah.
And that makes the difference every fight. When St. Pierre fought Josh Koscheck, everybody saw St. Pierre doing takedowns all night and trying to wrestle with him. He stuck a jab in his face all 5 rounds and busted him up.
Yeah.
All 5 rounds.
Back to that jab.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta have foundations. You have to have foundations. Who
But
you picking? Who you picking? Who you
for
picking?
Holloway and Poirier, I have a hard time
Wait a second.
picking.
Who did you pick last week?
Last week?
Was
I had
Gaethje?
Barboza. Well, I had Barboza, but I had Barboza if he was able to dictate the range that the fight was fought at.
Which he wasn't able to.
And he wasn't able to dictate the terms of how the fight was progressing. Justin Gaethje did the old Pat Miletich saying, impose your will.
Yeah. So what do you got on this one? Maxie, Dustin.
I got Max Holloway on this
Max
one.
Holloway.
It's fucking really hard to bet against him.
You took the words right out of my mouth. You can't bet against Max at
Max Holloway, and you were saying about his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah. He's not a white belt anymore.
He's not a white belt anymore. His top game from Mount might even be 2 belts higher than what he actually has as belt. I think he has purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's purple belt. But when you're in Jiu-Jitsu, and you'll learn this too,
I'm already an expert. I'm already an expert.
Then you should know this.
Okay, tell me.
Then you should know this.
What should I? What do I know?
Everybody in Jiu-Jitsu has something that becomes a favored thing. Everybody in Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling and boxing and Thai boxing has something that's...
Honestly, I've noticed that. I'm not even going to lie. I've noticed that. We've been grappling with some guys, and like, there's a guy that is 1 month ahead of me, per se.
Yeah.
But I'm better than him because I'm an expert. But like, I could already see his tendencies, so I'm just like, okay, we're going to grapple again, and you're going to do this again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this now.
Yep. Here's the thing, and this is what I was leading to. When you have those tendencies, they expand beyond the level that you're at sometimes. Like, when it comes to myself, I should be a higher ranked belt than I am because I left a gym and we didn't have
is your
belt
belt?
system. My belt system actually is white. My belt actually is white belt.
Yeah, I'm going to start that belt this time.
It's the gym I was at. I was progressing. Never got to blue belt before leaving. My head Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach, George Gagel, had a thing. His big thing was if you were under his Jiu-Jitsu, he wanted to be the one to upgrade your belt.
Yeah.
And I've never allowed anybody to do that since. But the gyms I've been at since, they didn't do the belt system for adult Jiu-Jitsu classes because it was MMA-based Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
So I didn't have to worry about that so much. Technically, I'm a white belt. I have a purple belt's guillotine choke.
Fair enough. You should always have that white belt mind, though. Don't forget those bad guys.
You stay with a white belt mind. You're always wanting to learn. You will always get better. George St. Pierre always gets better.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's so
Dominic
thirsty,
Cruz
so hungry, so humble.
always gets better. Bisping, greatest example. Bisping always gets better.
So do we both have Max?
We both have Max, I think, because you didn't say Poirier.
No, I'm with Max. Sorry, I thought I said it.
And Poirier, God, that actually kind of sours me on this decision to make this fight right now because I really wanted to see Poirier get that title shot.
Well, it is.
He's going to have to earn it.
He's going to
have to earn it again, but he may have a few more steps to get to it.
I forgot. What's next for Gaethje?
Gaethje? Well, you said Pettis potentially.
Yeah, Pettis.
Said Pettis potentially.
Yeah. I have 3 names here.
Who do you have?
I have Kevin Lee, but I think he has a dance partner right now.
Yeah, he does. He has RDA right now.
Yeah, that's going to be a good fight.
At 170.
I heard that. I have Tony Ferguson, depending on his situation.
Tony Ferguson's going to be out for a while, probably, but yeah.
Okay. And the last one, not based on what they've done for me lately.
Yeah.
Because this person hasn't done anything for me lately. But I think the UFC, if you're unable to get a fight that maybe puts you up in the rankings or gets you closer to the title shot or
Yeah.
even is a title shot when you probably do deserve the title
Sometimes you
shot.
just got to take a fun fight.
Fun fight. And whenever you think about fun fight, I think about Nate Diaz.
That's funny because I thought the same thing this morning. I had happened to mention this to somebody. He's only been put out by one person.
Don't tell me.
It was with a head kick as your hint.
I know he fought Rory. Rory decisioned him?
Yeah.
Rory decisioned him.
Well, Rory TKO'd him, I guess. He finished him on the ground, I think. But it wasn't actually, no, I think they did go to the decision. But that's not what I'm talking about. But I mean, single strike stopped a guy. Josh Thompson, the punk.
See, he stopped Nate Diaz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He head kicked him and dropped him and then finished him on the ground.
Yeah, Nate Diaz is game.
Nate Diaz is as game as it gets. He's a fun fighter. And Nate Diaz likes a guy that's going to stand and throw with him.
And that's what Gaethje's going
And
to do.
Gaethje,
That's the fight they should make.
One of the only fights at that weight.
But getting Nate Diaz in the ring, or the cage, or the octagon.
You have to do something for Nate Diaz that's going to make him want to get there. He wants the money, yes, everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
He wants the spotlight,
Yes,
everybody does. You give him that stick at the end of the fight. If he wins, or if Gaethje wins, they can call their fight whatever the fight is that they want. Because that fight should be so much fireworks. Should be so much fireworks.
That's the fight that should happen.
If Nate wants Conor, he's getting Conor after that fight if he wins.
Yeah.
If Gaethje wants Khabib,
He should eat.
And Gaethje, you know what? He might be the stylistically most difficult fight for Khabib at 155.
He's game.
Because
So,
Iaquinta was a last minute call up. He was a difficult challenge. He's game. He's got enough wrestling and enough boxing to be a challenge. But he doesn't have the pace that Gaethje does, and he's not as good a wrestler as Gaethje is. And Gaethje uses his wrestling completely in reverse, and nobody has come after Khabib the way that Justin Gaethje would.
I can't believe this fight is happening as soon as it's happening. Sorry to cut off your thought.
Yeah.
But we do have to talk about Kelvin Gastelum.
Yes.
And Israel Adesanya. It's
Yeah.
happening this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm
that fight, I was super excited for Whitaker and Gastelum. I was really excited for that.
I'm so excited I dropped the most amount of money I've ever dropped on a bet.
Yeah. This fight was great for Adesanya because it's a test that he needs to show that he can pass if he wants to go further. If Gastelum wins this, it's still not the champ that he's fighting. And God, I hope he makes weight for this one. Because
that was the furthest thing from my mind.
I cannot stand. I like Kelvin Gastelum. He's a game fighter. He's a very in-your-face, high-paced fighter. In between fights, he gets like Johnny Hendricks, and he gets too big. And he doesn't always show that he's the most professional. And after Whitaker fell out of that last fight, he went on a tear saying, "Oh, this is unprofessional." And as far as I'm concerned, if the promotion has to tell you we're kicking you out or you're moving up, I can't ride with you.
No, me neither.
I can't ride with you.
Me neither.
As great as he is, he's very good. He's
I don't know.
really,
I'm not too excited to watch him fight.
But when it comes right down to it, this just wasn't a... I wasn't thinking of this fight, and it didn't excite me the way that it...
Izzy and Kelvin?
With Izzy and Kelvin. Didn't excite me the same way. If you put,
I'm just curious.
Izzy,
hold on 1 second. I'm just really curious. Like, Izzy hasn't proven himself to me yet.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see how good he really is, and I'm not saying anything bad about him.
Yeah.
I just still don't know how good he really is.
This is the way you're going to know. The part of this fight that does really excite me is seeing what Israel's limits are currently.
Yeah.
Because Kelvin
Exactly.
will find it.
Exactly.
Kelvin will find where his limitations are if he has them that are able to be picked up on at the moment. If Kelvin does not fight to the top degree of his ability, he could be in for a rough night.
I want to think this: the best Kelvin and the best Izzy. Kelvin is in for a tough night.
Yeah.
Because I'm always gonna lean towards the striker.
Yeah. I'm both ways. My base is wrestling, so I do value the wrestlers a lot, and they're harder sometimes to get behind because some of them stall in fights, and it's stalling wrestlers are hard to watch. Phil Davis had such a hard time getting over with fans for a while. Ryan Bader was the same way, and then Ryan Bader tried his hand at being the striker, and wrestle boxers are decent, but if that's not your base and you're not that mobile and you're not that fast, you do run into your limitations eventually, and he did. Guys like Kelvin Gastelum, he's not the most technical boxer.
Right.
He's not. He's a very higher pace MMA boxer. He's a much more mobile MMA boxer. It combos with his wrestling very well. He has a lot of upside as a fighter. He's really good. When he's clicked in, when he's on, he's a fucking challenge.
Kelvin's your pick?
Kelvin is not my pick.
So we're both picking Izzy then.
I really want to see Izzy win that
Me
fight.
too.
In my head, it kind of can go either way. The safe money really is on Kelvin, but I want to take the odds regardless on this one because I want to see Israel step up and see what the top of his game really is. And I think it's not going to be Kelvin that finds it.
No.
Although Kelvin can, and Kelvin probably will.
You know who would find it? Romero.
Romero or Whitaker. One of them two. And I think Whitaker is a diminished fighter potentially after the two fights with Romero. Romero has armor all over him, and you can't hurt the guy apparently.
Yeah.
But Whitaker is the same way the guys go through those meat grinder fights. You lose a part of yourself in those fights. You leave a part of yourself in the cage after those fights.
Whitaker has lost something at least for sure.
He's got a lot of rounds. He's got 10 rounds
with who I thought was the best in the division.
Yeah.
And I still think that, but age is getting against him. But with that being all said, we're 1 minute behind schedule.
Okay.
We don't want to get kicked out here.
Yeah.
Do you have any last thoughts about any of the other fights in one? Because I didn't watch all the other fights in one.
Gary Tonin.
Say it.
Gary Tonin improves to 4-0. He's passing the challenge as well. He's making it look easy. 155, I believe. 155.
Okay.
155 or 145.
Okay.
But he's fucking really good. He's
Gary
multiple-time world champion in Nogi Jiu-Jitsu.
I'm going to be watching more one, so I'm going to do the research on Gary Tonin.
He was looking like Wolverine all week.
Oh, him!
Yeah.
I do know him.
You do
I
know
do
who
know
I'm
him.
talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
He,
the quote that I heard of him post-fight was, he's going to be unbeatable soon.
That was out of his words. He was saying he's finally at the stage where he wants to start showing what he can do. Instead of just trying to get his feet wet in it and get into the sport, he put on a masterful performance. He didn't take any damage. He showed up, took control of the fight, and was all over his opponent until he finally got him. And you know what? He's the jiu-jitsu guy. He's not really finishing fights with jiu-jitsu right now. He's using jiu-jitsu to get to his finishes, and he's using strikes to get to his finishes, but he's not really using jiu-jitsu a lot.
I'm going to watch that fight. We might.
That is a very good fight, actually.
We might talk about it next day. You wanted to say something about David Branch, I think, did you?
I was just shocked how fast that.
Do you know who his opponent was? Well, regardless, not important. We'll figure it out. But whoever fought David Branch last night, I heard him say prior to the fight that he's the Khabib of this division.
Yes.
And he's even better than Khabib because he finishes people. And then I'm like, oh, okay, let's see what this guy's all about. First round, Khabib'd him. Boom. And finished him. I was like, okay, maybe this guy is the Khabib of the division.
Finishing David Branch, and this is why I said it the way I did. David Branch went and lost in less than a minute. That is amazing that happened, because that is not an easy task.
Hit like.
Smash the subscribe button.
Smash it.
Hit the bell icon for the post notifications.
Yes, good point.
Yeah.
We have a social media presence on Instagram, the Jump MMA, at the Jump MMA. Twitter, also at the Jump MMA. If you have any emails, questions, comments, concerns, you could hit us up, message the discussion board on this YouTube channel, or you could email us at thejumpmma@gmail.com. Instagram, Twitter, email, hit like, subscribe. Shout outs to Utoya, CBD. It's been a blast, and we can't wait to see you next week.
Next week?
Or maybe sooner.
Maybe sooner.
We good?